Hello guys and welcome to the 8 Week to Freak 5-day bodybuilding program. So I put this video together just to give you an insight on how to use the spreadsheet for best effect and how to get the most out of your training, because if we measure it, it gets managed better. We know exactly where we need to go. We know exactly what we'll have to do to increase those results, let's say. So as you can see, we have an Excel spreadsheet with a load of training information on. First things first, I'm going to take you to training notes here. So in training notes, we're just going to go over a few key terms. You've probably heard of them before, or you may not have. So if you haven't, then this is all good stuff. Top of the list is A1, A2. This simply is supersetting. So if you have A1, A2, or B1, B2, B1, B2, B3, that means you're going to carry out one exercise without having any rest. You're going to go from bench press straight into a barbell row, for example. Pretty straightforward, okay? Next one, we have reps in reserve. Now this is a way of auto-regulating your training. You may have went with percentages of your 1 rep max in the past. However, that's all well and good, but for example, you might have had a shitty week, for example, and you might have been really busy. And if you are the kind of person that, you've got a busy job, stressful job, you're on your feet more, for example, this is called auto-regulating your training, which means you're going to go and do your training session based on how you feel energy and strength wise. So if we work with a reps in reserve of 3, for example, that means we're going to train 3 from failure in a nutshell. Again, if we use RIR1, we're going to train 1 from failure, but this isn't about pussying out or anything like that. It's about we're working X amount of reps from our true 1 rep max or our true 10 rep max, for example. So if we're going to do 4 sets of 12 at a certain weight, we're going to stop 3 reps from failure. So I hope that makes sense. It's fairly straightforward, okay? Next thing, if we're working in the 8 to 12, 12 to 15 rep range, this is how we're going to gear that week or that block of training over a 4-week period. So in week 1, if we do sort of 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, first set we might get 11, second set 11 reps, second set 11 reps. Because we've stuck with the 8 to 12 rep range, we're going to aim to get X amount of sets for 12 reps. So the next week you might increase one of the sets by a rep. So we're going to do 12, 11, 11 using that same load, and then we're going to use the same load for the next week. But the next week you might get 3 sets of 12 at a 20k load. That means we're going to increase the load the following week. And this might mean, week 4 we get 10, 10, 9. But we're lifting a heavier weight. So then the week after we're going to build back up. So you can see where I'm going with that one. If we are working sort of 12, 10, 8, 6, for example, this is a simple increase the load, decrease the reps. If in week 1 your rep target's 12 and then in week 2 it's 10, you're simply going to add around about 5 to 10% more weight on the bar. This again, go off how you feel, but just make sure you're increasing that poundage when you're using this training progression. You'll notice as well, I'm doing an accumulation style of training in some weeks. So in week 1, we may do 3 sets of 12 at a 20k load. Week 2, we're going to do 4 sets of 12 at that same 20k load. But this way, we're just increasing volume throughout the training period. Week 3, we might do 5 sets of 12. So once we get 5 sets of 12 at a 20k load, for example, we're going to increase the load the following week and build back up. You'll have noticed here as well, I've put some warm-up videos in. Just click on them, because if we need to get blood to that working muscle. If we increase blood flow to the working muscle, warm the joints up, the ligaments, that means our risk of injury is going to decrease. We're going to perform better. We're going to be more explosive. For example, if we're doing squats, if you can get some box jumps in there, we're priming the central nervous system for maximal performance. Now then, the training plan. I'm going to show you how to use this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet will calculate training volume. And training volume is a way of managing fatigue. If we're doing too much, we can have a look and go, well, actually I was doing X amount of training volume over that month. Let's look at next month, maybe readjust it because I felt fatigued or whatever. But I'm just going to show you, for example, you have in this box your weight and your reps. So for example, if we lifted 120 for 12, you can see over in the volume part, it's calculated the volume automatically. If we scroll down, it calculates it down here as well. So over the month, we will get our monthly sessions of volume in this bottom box. It's self-explanatory. You don't have to use it. Bear in mind that this training plan, you can print it off. It fits perfectly on A4. It's designed to fit on A4 paper, so you can carry it in the gym. What you can do is write on it in the gym and then come and populate this spreadsheet when you finish the gym. I think I've covered everything. If I haven't, feel free to drop me a message. I want to keep this fairly quick. It's probably been about 10 minutes or so. And by the end of February 2019, if you present to me the best progression of your physique, your strength, you can be enrolled in your chance to win a fucking mega prize. Whether I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I want you to work fucking hard over this next 8-week period, end of February 2019, smash it, get the best results possible. Oh, actually, hang on. Before I move any further, we forgot to move on to the macronutrients. As you can see, you've got a tab at the bottom here. This is calculating your calorie requirement based on your goal, okay? Self-explanatory. Again, we're going to fill in the yellow boxes. So if we want to go fat loss, we've got a drop-down menu. We've got muscle gain in there. We've got endurance. I know you're not interested in endurance, but this is what I use for my online coaching and stuff like that. We're going to hit muscle gain. Makes fucking perfect sense. And if we start at 100 and let's say we're 120 kilos, well, you probably don't need any more mass. It's going to work out all your calories, all of your protein, all of your fats, all of your carbohydrates over here for a training day and a non-training day. Again, in here, you're going to, select your activity level. You might not be that active. The less active you are, the lower your calorie requirements will be. Set up here for 5 days a week. The training duration is going to be around about, I'm guessing, in between 60 and 80 minutes, with including a warm-up. But make sure you're adhering to the rest periods that are detailed in the training plan, because if you're not resting sufficiently, then you can't push the training intensity and volume up. We'll need to be resting for that 90 to 120 seconds, especially when it comes to training legs and things like that, to recover and manage fatigue throughout the training session. Woo, I rattled through that, nearly forgot what I was going to say, but this is it, guys. Any questions, hit me up by email or Facebook, whatever you want. So thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Get massive.